lads and lassies, and welcome back to another Kingdom Hearts video. With Kingdom Hearts 3 fastly approaching, I feel it would be a good idea to start everyone off and explain to everyone the complex, fun, tear-jerking, and famous storyline that is Kingdom Hearts. This is going to be a longer video, since I will be explaining the complete story with spoilers from beginning to end, reading off at least these 10 pages that I had wrote. But sit back, relax as we go to explain this complex and fun storyline from start to finish. Again, this will have spoilers to the series. We start with back cover. We start way back in the age of fairy tales, when all the scattered worlds were whole. In this age, Kingdom Hearts was open, and Kingdom Hearts was the main source of all light and a huge collection of hearts, wisdom, and power. Kingdom Hearts was a lock, and with its counterpart to serve as the key called the Keyblade, or as we see, the X-Blade. The Master of Masters had discovered a way to create a weapon in its image of the X-Blade called a Keyblade by extracting a person's heart. The Master of Masters, with the ability to see into the future, saw a devastating battle on the horizon, which would create the end of the world. The Master of Masters trained 5 of his apprentices, called the Foretellers, to create their own unions with their own roles in mind to prepare for this devastating future, along with a copy of the book that would tell the events to come up to the battle, to protect the world and its light from the approaching darkness. He gave one of his apprentices, Lu Shu, his Keyblade, in which had his gazing eye, to see the events of the future. He also gave Lu Shu a big black box in which he cannot open but knows the contents inside. After giving all of this to his apprentices, he disappears, entrusting his apprentices the role he gave them. However, a while after, one of the apprentices and standing-in leader, Ira, discovers a nightmare or dream eater, which plants bad dreams to people who sleep. This leads everyone to believe there is a traitor among their ranks. After this pressure, the group begins to crumble and turn on each other to discover the traitor and reconsider themselves and their roles. One foreteller, named Ava, gathers a large amount of Keyblade wielders with a resistance to the darkness. It tells them to go into hiding instead of fighting in this war, naming this group the Dandelions. As all the unions fight each other to take the light or Lux and fight off the growing darkness, this only allows the darkness to spread and take the entire world instead. This was called the Keyblade War, and eventually caused the X-Blade that protected Kingdom Hearts to shatter into 20 pieces, 7 of pure light and 13 of pure darkness. Without its protector, Kingdom Hearts disappears, consumed by the darkness. After the battle, the world was saved by the lights within the hearts of children, but not completely. The one world was split into many disconnected worlds. The place that once hosted the Keyblade War was then known as the Keyblade Graveyard, filled with the Keyblades of those who failed in the war. The remaining Dandelions took an oath to protect the world from further destruction and later attempt to reunite all of the unions. Many years later, when the Keyblade War would only be known as a legend, a young man named Xehanort on the Destiny Islands was visited by a mysterious cloaked figure. This figure was known as Ansem. A being of Xehanort's future self only traveled back in time. Ansem is known as a Heartless, a being made from a heart taken by darkness. Ansem gives Xehanort the ability to travel back in time to collect 10 vessels to take fragments of his future self's heart to create an organization that will recreate the X-Blade and restart the Keyblade War. After traveling through time, Xehanort loses all of his memories but still has a strong desire to become a Keyblade Master and carry out the events of this future. Ansem also goes back to his own time. This is the start of Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. Xehanort goes to the Land of Departure to become a Keyblade Master along with another pupil and friend, Ericus. But the friendship begins to shatter as Ericus believes that the darkness of the world should be destroyed, but Xehanort believes that it could instead be controlled and coexist along the light. An elder Xehanort then takes an apprentice called Ventus, with the purpose to use Ventus's body as a vessel to put his heart inside. However, Ventus is too weak, and Xehanort instead extracts the darkness from his heart and ends up creating Vanitas. This proceeds to also end up creating creatures called the Unversed. creatures attracted to negativity. Xehanort then decides to use Vanitas to create the X-Blade and using his pure dark heart with the heart of pure light, which he will find later on. Xehanort takes Vin to Destiny Islands to die, but just then Vin's heart was touched by an unknown child named Sora, whose heart heals his own. This allows Vin to survive, and Xehanort then takes Vin to Ericus to be trained with his other pupils, Terra and Aqua. Xehanort sees Terra as a possible apprentice and vessel after the failure of Ventus, and he begins to turn Terra against his friends. During these events, Terra goes to the Destiny Islands, meeting a boy named Riku, who, by touching his Keyblade, he gives the potential of becoming a Keyblade wielder too. This is called the bequeathing. Riku touches Terra's Keyblade, and a key called the Kingdom Key chooses him. At the same time, Aqua meets a girl named Kairi at the Radiant Gardens, who accidentally touches Aqua's Keyblade and bequeathing her, allowing her to also be chosen by a Keyblade in the process. During these events, Ericus attempts to kill Ventus from allowing him to be used to create the X-Blade and prevent total destruction to occur, but he is stopped by Terra, who ends up killing Ericus. Xehanort sees the elimination of Ericus and asks Terra to meet him at the Keyblade graveyard, where Aqua and Ventus follow. At the graveyard, Xehanort transfers his heart into Terra to then become Terra Xehanort, or what I like to call Terranort. Terra is able to resist somewhat, but Vanitas takes over Vin, and the two then create the X-Blade. This allowed Kingdom Hearts to appear from the darkness in the sky before it was lost to the Keyblade War. In this event, Aqua and another Keyblade wielder named Mickey Mouse appear and defeat Vanitas, in the process shattering the X-Blade, blasting everyone to different worlds, making Kingdom Hearts hide once again. Ventus's heart is lost after the battle with Vanitas, and Mickey brings him and Aqua to Yen Sid at the Mysterious Tower, a retired Keyblade wielder, and Mickey's master tells that Ventus has fallen into deep sleep until his heart can recover. Aqua then returns to the Land of Departure to lock it away, as she was told to do so before Ericus' death, turning the Land of Departure into the Castle Oblivion, and creating the Chamber of Waking, where she puts Vanitas so he can heal. She then goes to the Radiant Garden, where Terranort landed. Terranort escapes from Aqua, but loses all of his memory in the process. He is then discovered by Ansem the Wise, a different Ansem than we know, taking Xehanort as his apprentice. Ventus's heart then goes back to Sora in order to heal. Aqua ends up in the Realm of Darkness, where she finds that time doesn't flow normally, being told much later by Mickey that 10 years have passed. A year later, Xehanort recovers his memories, remembering that he is Master Xehanort, along with Bragg, another of Ansem's apprentices, convince Ansem to experiment with the heart to extract darkness in order to create Heartless. Ansem is wise to their plan and refuses. However, Xehanort, Bragg, and other apprentices create Organization 13 and exile Ansem to the Realm of Darkness. Xehanort takes Ansem's identity and takes the darkness from himself and his fellow apprentices' hearts, creating both Heartless and Nobodies, or the shell of a body after the heart is removed. Ansem's Heartless keeps that identity afterwards, beginning to lead an army of Heartless to many worlds, and consume as many as he can to the darkness to create his own artificial Kingdom Hearts. The Nobody, Xemnas, creates an organization and looks to find more Nobodies to take under it. Elsewhere, Ansem the Wise discards his own name, becoming Diz, and controlling the darkness but not being consumed by it, and escapes the Realm of Darkness to Twilight Town. Concealing himself to hide his identity, he hides into an abandoned mansion and spends most of his time researching the Nobodies and the Heartless. A couple years later, Sora, the boy who Ventus's heart has taken shelter, is preparing to leave the Destiny Islands with his friend Riku, the boy who Terra bequeathed, and Kairi, the girl who Aqua bequeathed, and was eventually washed up on the islands after her hometown was overtaken. When Riku opened the mysterious door in the secret place, falling to the darkness, allowing the Heartless to take over the island. Sora reaches out to Riku's heart, and in the process, the Kingdom Key then instead chooses Sora over Riku, proving that his heart is stronger. Sora then goes to the secret place to find Kairi in front of the door, which blows open, allowing massive amounts of darkness and Heartless to seep in, blowing Sora away from his island. Kairi's heart takes shelter inside of Sora for protection. Like Ventus, her body is in physical sleep. This is the start of Kingdom Hearts 1. Meanwhile, Mickey Mouse, now a Keyblade Master and king of his world, has left his world to deal with the growing darkness and solve the problem of all the worlds twinkling out of the night sky. He left instructions for Goofy and Donald to find what he calls the key, and they set out to Traverse Town, where they meet Sora, who is the key. After discovering that Sora's Keyblade can be used to seal keyholes to other worlds to prevent any more darkness from coming through, they all team up to find Riku, Kairi, and Mickey. Sora manages to seal many worlds before coming across Maleficent, who said she is looking to take the 7 Princesses of Heart to unlock the artificial Kingdom Hearts that Ansem created. The 7 princesses were protected by 7 fragments of pure light that broke off from the original X-Blade. Sora also discovers that Riku joined her as she promised to help him find Kairi. He does find her, but with her heart missing from her body. Sora and his friends eventually arrive at Hollow Bastion, the place where Maleficent and Ansem operate, in what remains of Radiant Garden, to take on Riku. They defeat Riku and Maleficent once again, and find Riku, who leads them to Kairi's motionless body. Riku tells Sora that he is possessed by Ansem, who explains that Kairi is a Princess of Heart, and her heart resides inside of Sora. Sora defeats Ansem, but he can't seal the keyhole due to Kairi's heart still inside of him. Sora uses Ansem's Keyblade to release his and Kairi's heart. Kairi's heart returns, but Sora turns into a Heartless in the process. Kairi, using her strength as a Princess of Heart, is able to turn Heartless Sora back into his original form. Ansem then goes to the end of the world, a collection of fragments of worlds, taken by darkness, where he is found and defeated by Sora. Ansem is able to open the door to Kingdom Hearts but is killed by the light inside. Mickey and Riku, back in his original body, are seen through the door in the Realm of Darkness. Heartless attempt to attack Riku, but Aqua is able to capture them and fend off most of them, sacrificing herself from getting back home and is instead still locked inside the Realm of Darkness. Riku and Mickey then help Sora close the door to prevent any more darkness from escaping. Sora closes the door with Mickey and Riku inside, with Mickey promising that there will always be a door to the light and that he will see his friends once again. After the door is sealed and all the broken worlds reunite, Kairi is brought back to the Destiny Islands. Sora, Donald, and Goofy then set out to look for the door to light in hopes of finding their friends again. Aqua vows in the Realm of Darkness to help anyone who ends up there. Little did Sora know that when he released his heart from his body, he created a nobody that took the face of Ventus named Roxas, and Kairi's nobody named Namine. After being created, Namine is found inside Castle Oblivion by Organization 13, being taken as captive, and Roxas being found by Xemnas, who is the leader of the organization in Twilight Town, being recruited as a member. This is the start of 358.2 days. Roxas, being able to wield both Ventus and Sora's Keyblades, is placed under the care of Axel, Organization Member 8. The two are tasked in destroying as many Heartless as possible to be collected in order for the artificial Kingdom Hearts, and become complete beings other than nobodies once again. Shortly after Roxas joins, another member joins that goes by the name of Xion. Xion is still unknown, by which her appearance changes based on her relationship with another person. Roxas and Xion become close friends as Xion reveals that she can also wield a similar Keyblade to his own. Shortly after, Axel and several other members are sent to Castle Oblivion to look after Namine and prepare for when Sora arrives. At around the same time as 358.2 days, Chain of Memories also begins here. Sora, Donald, and Goofy arrive at Castle Oblivion, but upon going inside, they begin to lose their memories, replaced with fabrications of memories, given by Namine, who can control other people's memories, being forced to do this by the organization. Marluxia and Larxene, both members of the organization, plan to use Namine to wipe Sora's memories and use him as their puppet to overthrow the organization. Sora, Donald, and Goofy make their way through the castle, defeating many organization members along the way, and eventually Namine is freed. When freed, she tells Sora and his friends to go through a deep sleep in sleeping pods as she repairs their memories, causing them to lose any memory of her as a result. In this process, Riku, who appears at the very bottom level of Castle Oblivion, begins to fight his way up to Sora in the pods. And when he does, he then refuses to steal away the darkness inside of his heart, instead trying to control it and telling Namine to take care of Sora. Going back to 358.2 days. While Sora is put to sleep, Roxas falls into a deep coma that lasts for several weeks because of the connection that they share. At an attempt to get back at the organization, Diz, aka Ansem the Wise, invades the castle. There he finds Sora, who he was observing until now, as well as Namine, and he takes both of them to Twilight Town, or refuge, as he watches over Namine and Sora. As Roxas wakes, he is informed by Axel of their loss at Castle Oblivion, including the death of all the members sent there except for himself. Roxas then begins to spend a lot of time with Xion and Axel, as the three turn into close friends. Shortly after, however, Roxas begins to experience all of Sora's memories that are being given back to him, and he slowly starts to question the motives of the organization. Eventually, Xion encounters Riku, who questions her existence. Riku finds her unconscious on the Destiny Islands and asks her to come with him to find Sora in order to return the memories she is keeping within her back to him so he can awaken. She starts to become a little confused as to why she has Sora's memories and how she doesn't want to leave her friends. She returns to the organization, but Sora's memories just keep filling her head faster instead of Roxas, making her grow stronger as Roxas grows weaker, which was Xemnas' goal. This also stops Namine from restoring Sora's memories. Xion encounters Riku once again, but this time chooses to go with him. Later, Axel tells Roxas Xion's true identity, an imperfect replica of Roxas created by Xemnas as a failsafe if Roxas failed. Upset at Axel for keeping this from him for so long, he asks him his own true identity. Axel refuses to answer, and Roxas leaves the organization despite Axel's warnings, for if he left, the organization would destroy him. Xion then comes across Namine. Namine informs her what she really is and tells her that once she returns to Sora, everyone will forget her. But Xion accepts this sacrifice. Diz appears and informs them that the organization followed Xion. She discovers that it was Axel, who intends to bring her back to hopefully return Roxas back as well. Axel succeeds and brings her back to the organization. He faints from exhaustion and Xemnas begins to reprogram Xion. Roxas goes to Twilight Town and finds Xion there too. She has taken on the form of Sora, however, as she takes in more of Sora's memories. Even reprogrammed, Xion is still aware that if she continues to exist, Roxas will eventually fade. So she tricks him into do battle and forces him to defeat her in self-defense. After defeating her, he holds her in his arms as she fades away, returning all the memories and the heart she grew to Sora. Roxas and anyone who knew her then loses all memory of her. She asks of Roxas to prevent Xemnas from achieving Kingdom Hearts and express her gratitude towards him and Axel for their friendship before disappearing. Roxas goes to confront Xemnas, but is stopped by Riku, who intends to capture Roxas for Sora's memory restoration. They do battle, but he remembers Xion asking him to stop Roxas at any cost, as she knows he isn't ready to take on Xemnas. Roxas slowly overpowers Riku, but Riku taps into his darkness, which then overpowers Roxas, his dark form resembling Ansem. Diz appears, and both Diz and Riku take Roxas to the old mansion, knowing that the organization will always be on the hunt for him. Diz digitalizes him and puts him in a virtual Twilight Town. This is the start of Kingdom Hearts 2. In this world, Roxas plays out what seems to be like a normal life, going through summer vacation with his three friends, Hainer, Pince, and Olette, without any memories about the organization. Again, Roxas begins to experience Sora's memories as Namine is still restoring them outside. Soon, nobodies begin to invade this digital world, along with Axel, who tries to bring Roxas back to the organization. Roxas is surprised as a Keyblade appears in his hand. Roxas later comes in contact with Namine, who connects his heart with Kairi. Kairi uses this to talk to Roxas. When she asks about Sora, Sora is able to talk to Kairi through Roxas. As more and more glitches begin to take effect in this digital world, Namine eventually reveals the truth to Roxas, telling him that he is a nobody, and that he will once again one day meet with Sora once again. Axel appears, this time threatening Roxas to come back or else he would be destroyed. Diz intervenes again and tells Roxas to come to the mansion. He does, finding Namine, who tells him the truth about who he is, what he is, and where he is. There, he comes across the computer in which reveals that the data of Sora's memories. Axel tries to intervene again, this time going into a fight, and Roxas revealing both Ventus and Sora's Keyblades. Once defeated, Axel tells Roxas that he hopes he will see him again in the next life, and ninja poofs away. Roxas continues to follow the rooms until he reaches Donald and Goofy sleeping along with Diz, who he now hates so much. Telling Diz that he is no one else but himself, he refuses to accept the fate that he needs to return to Sora. Diz explains that he will share that hatred with Sora. Diz disappears, and the big sleeping pod in the middle of the room opens, revealing a sleeping Sora. Roxas telling to himself that his vacation is now over, Sora, in his mind hearing Roxas say his name, he begins to open his eyes, seeing Donald and Goofy in the place of where Roxas stood. This is where the adventure of Sora continues, it being over a year now, and grows up quite a bit. Sora and his friends later meet up with Yen Sid, who informs them that the Heartless, Nobodies, and Organization 13 have taken over a lot of the world, and Heartless is crawling around still once more. They then set out to protect the worlds from Heartless and these Nobodies. But now there are two groups, one led by the organization and one by a recently revived Maleficent. In Destiny Islands, where Kairi is, Axel tries to lure her and kidnap her with the promise to see Sora again. Riku is able to stop this by creating a teleporter behind her to Twilight Town, but she is shortly found again by Axel, who this time is successfully able to capture her. After that, she is taken by Saïx, Xemnas' right-hand man and Axel's former friend. During this, the Hollow Bastion Restoration Committee is created in an attempt to restore Hollow Bastion to its former glory as Radiant Garden. Here, Sora finds Ansem the Wise laboratory and Xehanort's many notes on the Heartless and many other things. And the committee discovers that the world is being attacked by a large mass of Heartless. Mickey chases after Xemnas, and Sora, Donald, and Goofy find themselves surrounded by Heartless. They hold off this attack and catch up to Mickey. Xemnas then taunts, saying Mickey knows about a still missing Riku before disappearing with Mickey. Sora, Donald, and Goofy then meet Axel, who tries to help them by revealing the organization's plans until he is stopped by Saïx. Saïx then tells Sora that they're intent on making Sora killing as many Heartless and let loose hearts to create their Kingdom Hearts. Sora then eventually finds himself in Twilight Town, where he meets Hayner, Pence, and Olette. Mickey eventually arrives, and they make their way to Diz's computer, which they use to enter the simulation. When inside, they are ambushed by Heartless. Not long before, Axel arrives and saves them by using all of his power and fading away, not before saying how he wanted to see Roxas again, and how he made him feel like he had a heart, opening portal to find Kairi in the castle dungeons. After arriving in the world that never was, Roxas awakens inside of Sora and transports him into the depths of his heart. There, they do battle, but Sora beats Roxas. Roxas asks Sora why Axel saved him instead of turning him into a Heartless to bring Roxas back before departing. Eventually, Sora, Donald, and Goofy meet up with Mickey and make their way through the castle that is keeping the organization, where the new Kingdom Hearts is nearly complete. Inside, Kairi is freed from captivity by Namine. Saïx tries to stop them, but it is stopped by a cloaked figure who is actually Riku. Sora and his friends reach the castle, and Mickey goes ahead to meet with Diz. Saïx calls a swarm on them as Maleficent and Pete take on an opportunity to invade the castle. Sora fights his way through, eventually meeting up with Riku and Kairi. Sora fights his way through, defeating many members along the way. There, Riku reveals Roxas to Sora, informing that Roxas is now within him. They reach Diz, now unmasked as Ansem the Wise, and Mickey, who are trying to seal Kingdom Hearts using an encoding device which is overloading. Xemnas arrives and begins to argue with Ansem over whose fault it is for the destruction of so many worlds, leaving Ansem to regret his part in it. Ansem then apologizes to Roxas for what he put him through, hoping that the message reaches him through Sora. The machine explodes, which in the process purifies Riku, returning Riku to his true appearance, but also damages Kingdom Hearts, unleashing a giant wave of Heartless. At the very top of the castle, Sora and Riku fight off Xemnas twice and defeat him both times. Everyone leaves through the corridor of darkness, but before Sora and Kairi and Riku are able to, Namine and Roxas appear. Roxas and Namine come to peace about becoming one with their respective other, knowing that as long as Sora and Kairi are together, then they can be together too. Namine merges with Kairi and Roxas to Sora. After Riku and Sora can enter the corridor, Xemnas appears once again. Of course, Sora and Riku defeat him once more. They eventually escape to the realm of darkness at a beach. There they rest before a message from Kairi washes up. After reading it, a door to light opens, and Sora and Riku go through it, both going back to the Destiny Islands. Afterward, Jiminy Cricket, who had been taking down all their adventures, come to the king saying that the journals are blank except for one line at the very back of the book. Thank Namine. And another, the hurting will be mended when you return to end it. This is the start of Kingdom Hearts Recoded. To solve the mystery of this message, Mickey digitalizes the journal and creates a digital world of Sora and his adventures, fixing bugs and glitches along the way. Along the way, Data Sora meets Data Roxas, in which he does not recognize. Data Roxas helps Data Sora open a door to meet Data Namine. She reveals that his real counterpart is the key that connects everything. Due to the connection with himself, Roxas, Axel, and Xion, she also tells him about Terra, Ventus, and Aqua, who are tied to his heart. It is these data figures that he must save from their hurting. He then thanks Namine, who then erases herself from the journal. Meanwhile, Mickey meets with Yen Sid, who suggests looking for Terra, Ventus, and Aqua. Mickey says that they are closer to knowing the location to Ventus's heart, leading Yen Sid to explain that they have to now find Terra, revealing that the two are aware that Aqua is still in the realm of darkness. Yen Sid also reveals that since Xehanort's Heartless and Nobody have been destroyed by both Sora and Riku, his heart and body can finally now create his original form once more. Yen Sid says that defeating Xehanort will need more than just one Keyblade Master and tells Mickey to summon Riku and Sora to take the Mark of Mastery, the test to see if their hearts are strong enough to become Keyblade Masters. In the realm of darkness, Aqua comes across Ansem the Wise, who had been transported there after the explosion. He reveals that his memories are starting to fade, but tells her about a boy he met about a year ago, who has twice saved the world from darkness. If it is Ventus or Terra, he said it was neither. He said he has hid his memories within the boy as the boy's memories were being repaired, and he hopes that the boy will use this knowledge to open the door to save him and those who are connected to his heart. On Radiant Garden, in Ansem's lab, the members of Organization 13 are all revived in their original form from their nobodies, and Heartless being destroyed. They hold their nobody forms but hold no grudge against Sora or Riku. Lee, or Axel, specifically remembers Axel telling Roxas and Xion that he will always bring them back. This begins Kingdom Hearts' Dream Drop Distance. Riku and Sora both appear in front of Yen Sid to take their Mark of Mastery, both being sent into the worlds of dreams to be watched and see if they can pass. Their goal being to open 7 locked worlds after a state of deep sleep. They must go to each world and unlock the worlds to the realm of light. Sora dives into the dreams of the worlds, but Riku unknowingly dives into Sora's dreams instead, being a dream eater and protecting Sora from his nightmares. While going through the exam, Mickey gets a message that Minnie has been captured by Maleficent and Pete. So Mickey, Donald, and Goofy set out to rescue her. While they arrive, Maleficent demands the data world they created when they digitalized the journal. Mickey refuses and a corridor of darkness arrives, which comes flying out Lee's chakrams, causing Maleficent and Pete to retreat. Lee emerges, but Mickey only recognizes him as Axel. Lee corrects him until all four go to see Yin Sid. Lee then asks Yin Sid to give him the ability to wield the Keyblade. The path will not be easy, but Lee persists and then begins training under Yin Sid. In the sleeping worlds, Riku and Sora encountered both of the Xehanorts, Heartless and Nobody, along with a mysterious young man. After unlocking the keyholes, Sora is transported to the real world and to the world that never was. The mysterious young man appears and places Sora into a deep sleep. In this dream, the young man reveals himself as a young Master Xehanort, and revealing his time-traveling abilities. Sora dives further into his own dreams, trying to make his way to the castle. However, along the way, he is haunted by visions of Naminé, Roxas, Xion, Aqua, Terra, and Ventus, each beginning to weaken his heart. Arriving at the castle, Xigbar and Xemnas begin to explain that Xehanort has been using his time-traveling abilities to gather various versions of Xehanort to make a real and new Organization 13. This was the original plan for the organization, to create empty husks for Xehanort to use at his disposal, turning them into himself. However, due to independence of such like Axel, Roxas, and Xion, this plan was a failure. Xigbar explains that he is already half Xehanort, revealing that the current members of the organization are Master Xehanort, Young Xehanort, his Heartless, Xemnas, and Xigbar. It is also revealed that many nobodies were able to create hearts of their own, including Axel, Roxas, Naminé, and Xion. Xemnas and Xigbar attempt to turn Sora into a vessel. Refusing, though victorious, the battle does a lot of damage to his heart. He falls into a comatose. Young Xehanort brings him to the castle. There he is swallowed by the darkness. But there Ventus's heart, and attempts to save him from the darkness, emerges from Sora's heart and envelops him in Ventus's Keyblade armor. Riku also, after sealing the worlds, finds himself in the same place, but inside Sora's dreams. There he finds Sora's unconscious body, after Xehanort had dragged him into his own dreams. Xehanort's Heartless reveals to Riku his purpose inside of Sora's dreams and him being a Dream Eater, protecting Sora. His Heartless attempts to take Riku's body once more, but Riku is reminded of his meeting with Terra as a child and goes to consume his inner darkness and return to the light. He makes his way to the castle's throne room, where he finds Sora still asleep. Xehanort appears and reveals that Sora will be his 13th vessel since Riku and Roxas both failed in the past. Xehanort reveals all of his vessels and Mickey arrives to save them both, but is stopped by Young Xehanort. Young Xehanort and Riku do battle and Riku prevails, but Master Xehanort is now fully revived. Xehanort reveals his plans of creating 13 keys of pure darkness against the 7 keys of pure light to create the Keyblade War. Xehanort then attempts to place a fragment of his heart inside of the sleeping Sora. In the last moment, however, Lee appears just in time to protect Sora and stop the fragment. Goofy and Donald also appear, but when they did, Xehanort disappears with his vessels. Everyone arrives at the mysterious tower, but Sora is still unconscious. Telling Yin Sid about Xehanort's scheme to awaken Sora once again, Riku must dive back into Sora's dreams and reassemble his broken heart. Inside, Riku does battle with a Sora in a nightmare version of Ventus's armor. He succeeds, but Sora begins to disappear inside the darkness as Riku uses Sora's Keyblade to arrive at Disney Islands. Here, Riku meets with Roxas, Ventus, and Xion before meeting with a data version of Ansem the Wise. Ansem told him about his memories he's placed inside of Sora. Ansem also tells him about Sora's ability to connect with others' hearts, and that this ability and the data he would give to Riku might bring back those who have been lost. His connection with these people and defeating the nightmare in Sora's heart may have awoken Sora in the real world. Riku awakens to an awoken Sora and they are given their result. That even though Sora performed admirably, Roxas was the only one who passed the exam due to Sora giving in to the darkness and his weakened heart. Axel then surprises everyone, telling him that he will be the next to take part in the Mark of Mastery. He then summons his Keyblade for the first time. Sora then travels back in the sleeping Traverse Town to visit his Dream Eaters. Elsewhere, a sleeping Ventus in Castle Oblivion smiles due to Sora's happiness. Back inside the tower, Mickey and Yin Sid discuss the Keyblade War and the X-Blade, and discuss about the 7 Princesses of Heart must be protected by 7 Guardians. Mickey explains they need one more Guardian as Riku appears with Kairi, who asks to see too that she be put through the Mark of Mastery, as she also has her own Keyblade now. Yin Sid explains that to get all of the 7 Guardians, they must also rescue Terra, Ventus, and Aqua. Mickey retells his last experiences with Aqua to the Realm of Darkness, making Mickey and Riku both decide to go back and find Aqua to bring her back. Sora then arrives with Goofy and Donald to Yen Sid. Sora is informed about him almost becoming a vessel to Xehanort, but with the battle against Xehanort quickly approaching, he has given Sora the task to restore and claim back his power, and he will fully be named a Keyblade Master once more. Instructing him to go to Olympus Coliseum, the lanes between worlds have been locked, but Goofy remembers the line, "May your heart be your guiding key." Sora does what his heart feels right and opens the way to the Coliseum, which then leads us to Kingdom Hearts 3. Well, lads and lassies, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope this helps in some way explain the entire story of Kingdom Hearts from start to finish. This was a longer video, but this will be very fun to edit, I know that for sure. I love this game so much, and I hope everyone is able to enjoy it along with me in the future. But everyone, if you like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and see all of you lads and lassies in the next Kingdom Hearts video.